Alright, it is Sunday. It's going to be a weekly recap over this week from the 21st, the 20th. But if you want to count the trading days, the 21st to the 25th. And I traded a lot more than I have recently, I believe. I traded 10 trades for that week. 7 winning trades, I guess a 70% winning percentage. What I really like this week, I did a lot better. I was positive 46, and I traded a larger amount of volume. So I guess the last similar was the first week, but I only had 4 small trades, and there wasn't any losses in there. And I like this, percent profit or loss compared to the amount of volume traded. I'd like to see this at least 3%. That's my goal, is to hit at least 3. I'd like to be in the 5s. To the point where, okay, I'm trading much larger, maybe bigger position sizes or maybe more trades, but it turns out to be more profitable. So let's just go ahead and go over it again. 10 trades, 7 green trades, 3 losing trades. Average dollar gain, well, actually, let me just see the average, just to put in some math right here. Let's just see what my average dollar position size was total. Looks like my average dollar position size was $300. So just to keep that in mind, average, dollar gain 8, and average losing trade was -4. Doesn't seem too bad, although these are small numbers, so I'm not sure what to really make of it. But I do like how my average dollar gain is almost twice, if not it is twice, what my average dollar loss is. My average percent gain is starting to get better. I did get a nice 8% and a 4%. There was a lot more room in some of these, and some trades I think I missed or I hesitated that would have been super profitable. This one I could have done better too. And so, that is a step in the right direction. I like to see, more distance between these two numbers, in the good way, not in the bad way. Average, position size on a winning trade is 316. Average position size on a losing trade it's not that much of a difference. It really doesn't matter. I do trade smaller in the 2 trades that were red. I did have a larger size here, but it was very speculative. I had a lot of speculative trades where I traded small position sizes like I did here with PHIL. My average time in the trade that wins and loses, that seems to be good. Ideally, a trade is just not working out and you cut it immediately. Although there are some where maybe I could risk off of a certain support level, so I'm not going to, be cutting it quickly. I'll be holding it until it looks like it's going to crack that level, or just a price action looks, it's showing that it's, maybe putting up, I don't know, lower lows from that level. It just all depends, but that's where I'm at. I like it that I traded more volume, but I still ended up being profitable, not a bad amount. I do like this again. This, I could do a lot better. I could do a lot better, but it seems like I'm doing a lot better compared to last week, which is good. And in terms of did the setup work, I had 2 that were really good. 2 yeses, 4 kindas, or eventually. Some of these were eventuallys. Some of them, like these kindas, didn't really provide much range. 2 no's and 0 big no's. That was really bad. That one was that if it's a big yes, that means that the setup at least offered 10%. Yes is, it was profitable. Kinda means maybe at best 5%. No means it didn't work out. It was gonna be a loser, and a big no was a 0. And of course, some of these, they don't work out initially, but later, maybe it has another leg down or something, it works out. So, as for did I trade it well? 1 big yes. I was really happy with that one. Number 5 setup with GMER. 6 yeses, 3 okays. That averages out to an 88, a B. And in terms of setup, did it work or not? It's better than last week, but it's still, a 73. So, I guess I just need to work on trading better setups. Although some of these, they do work eventually. I just did not trade at that time when it eventually worked out. So that could be just Me just having to push myself to trade these, even if I just took an L on it. If it has another leg down and it looks like it's going to work out this time, I should consider it. So yeah, that's 10 trades. I'm going to go over these. It looks like I traded PHIL 4 times. Gamer was 2 times. I already have Thinkorswim ready, and let's just go over it again from the 21st to the 25th. The first trade was LWLG. That was number 5 lower low, so not the initial drop, but the second one. Let's look at LWLG for 621. Right here, as you can tell, it's at $10. Still uptrending, but this is when I took a trade. It looked like, you know, it was gonna be toppy, maybe have a morning panic, and that's what it did. It just it did work. It looks like it did work. Let's look at this again, not the initial drop, but the follow-up. That was at 943, 655. So let's look at 943, 655. Let's go back to the 21st here. Let's include that, doesn't matter. Alright, 943, 655. So I took a buy, looks like right here. So here was the initial drop, not really a clean drop. It just had one big red candle, and the max volume wasn't that big red candle. You know, drop, bounces, and then I took that buy at 943. That was a pretty good entry. Seemed very nice, and then I just risked off the day low, which was 651. So, I mean, in theory, I'm only risking $4 since I traded, what, 100 shares? That's right, I was just risking $4. And if I'm risking $4, I need to do that 3-to-1 risk reward. If I think it can, you know, it can drop and crack this level and $4 risk, I should be going for at least $12 of profit, which in that case, I mean, it was possible. 655, you know, it did get, yeah, it did get much higher. Okay, yeah, definitely. Because, I mean, the highest I got to was 693, but that would have been hard. But here, 685, that's possible. Maybe even here, 670. That was totally possible. It just did not hold long enough. Let's see. Again, I got in at 943. And I sold at 946, 660. So I was here, right here. And then I sold at 46. Was it this candle? I think that's when I entered my... my exit order, but I didn't get executed here until here, I mean. So I placed the order when it was around here, and I got executed. I remember this. I put the order while it was still down here, so it would have been on the ask. It got executed, and yeah, the setup worked ultimately. Sure, I sold right here, I bought right here. Again, this thing just sketched me out when it happened. I remember, just completely threw me off. You know, not the best volume either. It's a bit choppy, but it ultimately worked out because, you know, just one more candle after the one I sold, you know, it had a little downtrend, but then it just had that big, somewhat unpredictable green candle, but it did get towards VWAP, which is a great, you know, place to sell. So this setup worked out. This one just sketched me out right here. I don't really regret selling, but clearly have more room because I, again, bought here, sold here. You know, a nice sell at VWAP would have been nice, 674. Let me just see how that would have been. Yeah, it would have been more profitable. Alright, that's cool. Still, I don't regret it, again, because it had that sketchy candle which threw me off completely. If it was just consolidating here, that would have been fine, but it just traded a complete candle down there. So let's look at the next one, which is AMC. Inverse head and shoulders did not work out. Traded it well. Let's look at AMC for the 21st. This one's just trading back and forth. Yeah. Right here, as you can tell, it's still back in this recent level. It's not really doing too much. 21st is gonna be back here, it seems like. Let's highlight the entire thing. Set for pre-market. I got in at 943. Oh wait, not right here. I got in at 1040, 58.70. So let's look at 1040, right about here, 1040 and 58.70. So give or take right here. I see the inverse head and shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder. And my sell was at 1043, 58.91. So I had that one spike. It just wasn't looking nice in terms of price action. I sold for a tiny profit. It just didn't work out because it was just, you know, the price action showed that this thing was struggling. Although it did have that green candle, it was still fading away, and that's what it did. It failed, and I guess it provided one here, but that was a good attempt. You know, it didn't work out, but I traded it well. Why not? It's tiny position, playing it very safely, and that was the case. I gotta do something, but I'll be right back and continue this recap. Okay, I'm back, and the next one is GMER. This was, I had two trades the same day, same setup. First one didn't work out, cut losses quickly. Second time worked out. Maybe you should have traded larger the second time. I don't know. Sometimes they have like two legs down. So, excuse me. Let me look over GMER 622. And let's get to the 22, which is right here. Looks like the big red day. Nice uptrend. 17 to 22. You know, it was a nice red day. And just to see what happened later. It's still near its highs. We might even try to crack this level again. Anyway, let's look at the 22nd, which was, I guess it's right here. It's pretty close now. Okay. Let's go ahead and highlight right here. Looks like it had more room to drop. Was it really right here? The 22nd? Was it really this day that I traded it on the 22nd? Let's find out. Let's see if I have the date wrong here. But in theory, let me just go ahead and alright, 2099. Let's go ahead and look at 934 for 2099. 34 was right back here. Huh. Did I trade this? 2099 right here? Did I really trade that? Give me a moment. I'm gonna see if I have maybe the date wrong on this. Okay, yeah, that was the right date. I don't see why I traded it. That's a bit. I actually consider that to be a really bad entry. 934, 2099. I guess right here. Yeah, 2099 was a buy. I don't. Just does. Oh, that makes a lot more sense. Okay. Yeah, because I was like, I can't see myself just buying just randomly. Like, that makes a lot more sense. Okay, nothing is wrong here. Yeah, okay. It opened at 24 and it dropped as low as 20. So what is that? Like, give or take a 20% move, right? 20. Maybe not that much. All right, just like that makes a lot more sense. Okay, yeah, this makes a lot more sense. So 934. 2099. Okay, so my buy was right here, 934, 2099, and again, just right about here, I took my first entry, and I guess I risked it off maybe 20, just to think, okay, maybe it's, you know, holding this 20 level, not perfectly clearly, but it is trying to hold this 20, or I guess 21 level. Yeah, definitely not 20, 21. So I was probably risking 21, and it just broke under it, so I got out. I sold at 2036, 935, so 934. Right here was my entry, and then 935. I got out right about here, 34. Yeah, sure, maybe not the best sell, but you never know. This thing can continue putting up a leg down. It could keep downtrending. We had this candle right here. Okay, it might actually hold, maybe just a temporary, you know, max panic thing. It's still holding that 20-cent level. Maybe it didn't hold 21, but it looks like it's going to hold 20. So that's when I went ahead and I bought again. That looks like I got in at 937,202. So 937,202 right here. Pretty good entry actually, right at the bottom of this. That was a pretty sick entry right here at 202. And you can see there was a lot of nice room here. I went ahead and I took a sell 939 at 2193. So right here, 2193. Did I actually? Yes, I did. Barely, but I did sell above VWAP. So that's what I'm really happy with. Sure, in theory, I could have sold maybe a bit higher or waited through this downtrend, because a lot of these, they break past VWAP. They kind of downtrend and then come back up and rip even higher to 2351. But I don't mind. This was like a great step. This was an over 8% move. It's the first time I really feel like I traded one of these nicely. You know, it didn't work out initially here. I bought and sold in these two candles because it looked like it had more panic when it looked like it wasn't. It was holding this 20-cent level. You know, I took a buy here and I took a sell right here. You know, could have done better, sure, but this is really a lot of progress if you ask me. I was really happy with that trade. You know, an 8% move. I want to do a lot more of those. DPLS was also the same day. Notice this isn't really a good setup, just a random support hold. But I traded it. DPLS for the 22nd. Alright, looks like just another red day. Nice run up. I'm probably just waiting for that big day where it has a rip through, kind of like here, and has a nice panic. Didn't happen really, but that was the plan. So let's look at the 22nd. And since that was a random support hold, let's see what time it was. 9:56. So I took a buy. 9:56, 702. So let's do it like here. You can see it had a nice panic the other day. This is when it was doing that sketchy symmetrical triangle. Looks like he ultimately, I mean, it did uptrend a little. Is that what it was, or did this just throw me off? No, it looks like it just kind of held its level, but yeah, 9:56. So my entry was right here. This candle right here with the big wick. 9:56, 702. Yeah, 702. You know, it was support here, give or take. I think if you were to go further back, it was also a support level. Anyway, yeah, I took a buy at right here, 9:56, 702. I didn't like the price action. It was a big person selling on the ask that just did not want to get taken out. Not true size. It was just absorbing a lot of, you know, buys, and it wouldn't go anywhere. Even had this wick here, which I think it was just a bad execution for somebody, but it just was not working out. Did not want to take a risk. Immediately sold at 9:57. I held for a minute because I just did not like the price action. Sold at 701. So yeah, 9:57, 701. Tiny loss. It did downtrend. It did break the 7-cent level, but it was just temporary. It held very nicely ultimately, because a lot of people soaked up the people who were panic selling, and it had a nice move from like the 6-7 level to, you know, 7-3. That's more than 10%, so that's pretty impressive. Just right at 10%. It's not even that nice, but that was a good one that I just cut it because of price action. This is one where you don't really risk a level, because if you're in here, I'm gonna risk 7. Boom, you get a sell at 6-7. That's not good. This is one where selling based off of price action was really nice, and it did work out eventually. I mean, I put no because the setup was just a hold at 7, didn't hold 7, but this worked out in that sense. I could have called, if I called it a morning panic bounce play, sure, I would have put eventually, but that's not really the same to me, because it kind of had this downtrend. I don't know. I'm just gonna call it a support hold. It could be a morning panic bounce play, but it is a bit later in the day, so it's not that ideal. But in theory, you could say that, and then I could change it to the setup work. You know, that would impact the grade just a little. I'd have to change. I'd have to do this. right? Goes to a 70. Oh, that's because I won. No? I don't know how that works. It said it worked. Would have went at 5 and then a 1. I don't know why the grade is worse. That doesn't make sense. Alright, maybe I'm just doing something wrong right here at the moment. Yeah. If I changed that no, becomes a 1, and for kinda becomes a 5. I don't get how it goes from a 73 to a 70. I guess I'll have to figure that one later. But that's the state where I'm at with that trade. I think it was more of just a hold towards 7 because it was support here. It was support earlier in the chart. Broke under it. Eventually worked out. Could have considered buying here, but you know, you live and learn. I keep getting better. I keep trying, and that was, I think, nonetheless a good attempt. Next one is WSRC for the 23rd, and this was a morning panic bounce play. Not an ideal one. Did I really go for a morning panic bounce play? Yeah, it was speculative because it wasn't, you know, something that ran for at least 3 days in a row. Nice big green candles. This was just one day up, the other day, and the next day, you know, it might do it because it ran a lot that first day. I think it was up like 800%. I forgot at where it closed, but hey, it's still uptrending, still trying to hold above its highs. So that in and of itself is pretty impressive. So let's look at the 23rd, which was back here. Morning panic bounce play. Let's see. It worked eventually. Cut the trade price action. All right, my entry 934, 1998. So 934 right here, and 1998. So right here, 934. Right at the top of this candle. Probably thinking that 20 cents is going to hold, you know, ultimately hold. Even though it did downtrend a little, probably thinking that it's just going to hold this level at night. I was probably risking it off of 1924, and I had my buy here. It worked out eventually, but it didn't work right here. I cut the trade. I sold at 1990. Held the trade for 45 seconds, sold at 935, 1990, so 935 right here, and I sold at 1990. You can see I was pretty tight with my risk. Probably just didn't like the price action. I probably bought at this level right here, thinking that people are going to be pushing it up. Just had the big volume candle right here. Ultimately, it was just people buying into a wall. Dropped. Could have considered a dip buy because it did work out eventually. It did offer some range. It did get past VWAP. It broke it here, downtrended. Although this would have been a lot of range. Downtrended and then broke VWAP again and went a bit higher. Worked out eventually. That was a speculative trade. I liked how I traded a small position. Just a tiny loss, tiny percent loss. That was a good attempt. It did work out ultimately. And the last 4 of these are all PHIL trades. I traded this 3 times in one day. That's cool. PHIL number 5 setup 623. Nice uptrend. Big red candle. 923. Oh, I remember this now. Makes a lot more sense. I'm not sure what happened there. This was the 23rd. Let's just try to get it right there. There we go. Okay, that shows the entire day. Morning panic bounce play. And my first buy was 954 at 174. So right here, 954. 174, so pretty good entry considering where the candle got to. 174, and I sold Wow, I held a bit longer here. 958. Sold at 175. So I got in right here. 4, then 5, 6, 7, 8. Sold at 175. This thing was traded extremely choppy. I tried selling it, wasn't executed. Order didn't get filled, and then it kind of got under the level. Now I did not like at all. Had I have risked this level, maybe I would have been more patient and I would have held better. But I did sell at I believe 58 here at this 175 level. Tiny position size. I only made $1 because I traded around, you know, perfect 10,000 shares. It did get as high as 183, so yeah, it kind of worked, but it wasn't that much range. You know, if I would have sold at 183, would have been 5% at the best case scenario. So, you know, even though the setup did work, it did do a nice uptrend after this panic right here. You know, it's just not that much range. 5% is the best, you know, that you can make in terms of percent gain. Sure, it worked, but that's kind of like a scalp. It's not the best setup, so it's a kind of good setup, kind of not really. So, second one, PHIL again, and that was 1013. So let's look at 1013, 167. It was right here. 167. So my entry was right here, 1013, 167. So here was the initial drop, spike. It got to VWAP again, downtrended, broke this level. It seems like it doesn't matter. Sometimes we're double bottoms. This one's a lower low. Sometimes it's a higher low. Yeah, I think lower lows are just better. But again, that 1013, right? Yep, 1013, 167. That was my entry. Big volume candle already came by here. That was very nice. Helped with confirmation. Same with here. We had two big volume candles, but this one was cleaner. You know, just gradually people are dumping their shares. Max panic. You know what happened right here. Again, 1013, 167. And this is the one where if I would have held longer, a lot longer, that would have been really nice. But you know, I sold the next minute. I can just keep working on it. And I sold again 1014, 168. Just probably did not like the price action. 168 right here. So bought here, sold here. You know, if had I have waited, I guess right here 4 minutes longer, 173. And then it got to VWAP, which was 1.8. So let's just see in theory. That would have been a lot nicer in terms of percent gain. Yeah, 7%. Easily could have been, you know, something that I could have done. Just because of the fact I got to VWAP. Volume was fading, sure, but hey, that means no more panicking. Nice uptrend. It got as high as, how high did this thing get? Let's go back to the 23rd. Actually, let me go back and redo it from the day opening. It did get as high as 194. That would have been kind of scary, but totally could have sold at this 1.8 level, just slightly above VWAP. So it did work out, and it did get to 195. But you know, that's playing with fire, if you ask me. It did start to panic later, but I could have easily sold at VWAP had I learned to hold better. Had I held just like 17 minutes. You know, that would have been pretty cool. Yeah, all right, I can get better. I can totally do it. It's not the first time I've seen this. The initial morning panic, bounce play, it can happen. It just downtrends, and it did here. But sometimes a second, I don't really see a third, although it happens sometimes. You know, this is the one where it can work out over a longer period of time. So that's pretty cool. I can totally get better with that. Was a speculative trade after all. I did trade a small position, 167, but okay. The last one, PHIL, that was the same day. These are always nice. The afternoon V panic. So It is a panic, but it happens in the afternoon. A lot of them make like a sharp letter V. DPLS was a similar one. So let's go ahead and look later. My entry was 3:03 p.m. So right about here. This was it. Nice panic. Let's just zoom out. See this? This is beautiful. This is super nice. Very, very nice. Looks like it had a gap down. That's interesting. The next day. So I remember this one. I was a bit late to it. Anyway, I was just randomly looking at other stuff on the internet, just not really paying attention. But then when I went back just to do a quick peek, I saw this big panic. Alrighty, this is very nice. And I bought 303, 104. So right here, the third candle, 104 right here. So I bought right here. Again, it bottomed at 9, so you know, I feel like I'm chasing at 104. It's like if it was at $90 and I'm buying at $104, right? It just felt a bit like, okay, you know, it probably is a chase, but I'm gonna go ahead and take a buy because this thing, I've seen these things spike massively, and this one did spike massively. This was like a 50% move, right? Because it was at 90. And then got to this 140, so give or take a 50% move. Very impressive, super impressive. And again, just because I was not in it initially when it started to turn around, or maybe the second candle, even though it doesn't seem like a lot to me psychologically, I just don't want to be chasing. But if I am, I'm going to be extra conservative on price action, reversals, because hey, this might be the top when I'm buying. So that's what I was thinking of. I sold the same minutes at 109. So yeah, this 3 level bought at 104, sold at 109. Probably got sketched out by the price action here when it just switched candles, you know, to the next minute. Probably just sketched me out. Sold at 109. It did get as high as 139, which was right under VWAP. That's impressive. Let me just see if, had I have sold at 1.4, what would that have been like? That would have been a 34% move had I have sold right at the top. That would have been super impressive. Sketchy too, but super impressive. Huh. Alright. It was a nice attempt. It was one of those V afternoon panics. Was kind of late to it. Could have at least held another minute, but I understand because this price action here probably just sketched me out. You see how it topped right here and then it opened down here. You know, it just sketched me out. But hey, it worked out ultimately. And the last trade, PHIL, but this one was the 25th. First dip towards VWAP. So let's look at PHIL, the 25th. Yep, just a rebound. Nice panic, rebounding. 25th was right here. Okay, yeah, the last day, and that was a buy at 9:45. Let's just highlight the entire day, why not, and a little bit of the previous. 9:45 was right here. Very hard to see, but it was uptrending, very nice. I mean, you know, from this 11.7 level to, you know, 135. That's a lot of range. So I was seeing this thing having its morning spike. A little sketchy because of where it is on the daily chart, but when it started to drop, I said, alright, I'll see how it reacts at VWAP and my whole VWAP. Clearly what it did here, right? And I got my sick entry. I already know what candle it was right here at 123, just to confirm 9:45. That's right, at 1235, and I sold the next minute because I was just freaking out with the price action, I think. Yeah, it says right here I wasn't able to hold for crap. I sold at 1262, 46. So right here, 46, 126. Yeah, not a good sell, but you know, I at least pushed myself to get in the setup. What did I put? I traded okay, just because I am kind of new to the setup. Clearly, you know, what I had in mind was selling towards a spike. Maybe I would have considered selling here in the 132 levels. Not extremely sure if it's going to break past this level. Although I did make a higher high, you know, it could just downtrend again. towards VWAP, which is what it did here out of curiosity. If I sold at 133, that would have been a 7% move. Excuse me. So why did I put big yes, as in did this setup work or not? Did it uptrend more later towards the day? 135. Yeah, it did. It did get to the 140s. Alright, I'll leave it there. And then it, yeah, 138. You know, 146. Just the first dip towards VWAP, downtrend. I guess that does make it a good day because it has that big drop. Here's a rebound. Not too ideal because it's the second rebound, but it is working hard. It is holding above VWAP for most of it, and here when it had that spike and touched the VWAP, I took a buy because there was, you know, nice downtrending price action, but then the bids just started to stack up. People were hitting the ask. I joined in with the people hitting it on the ask. Nice entry at 123. Got to 135. Touched the VWAP again. Put up a higher high. Then it went back and forth. Probably would have considered selling at this 136 level because who knows? It could have downtrended. But hey, it got to that 146 level. So yeah, that's all I got for the week. I think it was pretty good. I look forward to rewatching this. You know, it's one thing to record and another to watch the recording. I feel like I'm doing better, but you know, I have to continue to be consistent. I do really like that GMER morning panic bounce play. I like how I'm trying to get into the ones that have a morning panic bounce and then spikes, you know, drops again, makes a lower low. I want to keep getting better at those, especially because they can run much longer. Same idea here, although this one had a morning spike, drops, and then it spikes, and then drops again. This was a higher low in theory, but you know, it has more room. It kind of takes longer, and a lot. This was a nice one too. This V type of panic. I'm not sure if I'll find it here, but DPLS also did that. Right here. Was not there for this one when it happened, but this one was very nice too. You know, big volume candle right here signifying a potential bottom. It's not an exact sign, it's just a potential. 60 to 71. That's not really that bad. I look forward to continuing. You know, to keep trying, God willing. You know, I can't take things for granted. I am seeing some kind of improvement, but I have to keep working and keep being more consistent. I look forward to tomorrow. And I like doing this just to scare me out of like, you know, oh, you know, I'm trading small, I'm so scared. I've traded 22K. I know this is nothing to a lot of actual day trades, this is nothing, but you know, just since I started recording, to trade over 22K in volume, I think that's pretty cool. It kind of wakes me up, keeps things in check. I hope I can keep getting better. I like to see, you know, a larger percent when I'm profitable. These are nice when I'm not profitable. It's just a tiny amount. I just have to keep working towards it, holding better, you know, thinking, okay, if I'm risking 3-to-1 risk reward, let's try to hold for it. In a lot of cases I can do that, or go for VWAP. You know, I have a lot of improvements. You know, I have a lot of things I can keep working on, and I look forward to this week, God willing. I'll just keep trying. That's all I can do, is just keep trying. And I hope this helps anyone here who are watching this, just to get an idea of, you know, maybe how to track your trades or what other people are trading, just to learn what, you know, I'm doing right or wrong and others are doing right or wrong. So yeah, happy with the progress. It seems like I did better this week definitely than last week, but I still have a lot of room for improvement.